Unesco's World Heritage here in Veracruz. Wow, very tiny. Original Totonaco tradition. That's a Totonaco gentleman with the traditional Totonaco costume. Beautiful, gracias. Hey, gracias in Totonaco?
Pashkat
Pashkats That's Totonaco language. Beautiful. Tajín. While the Teotihuacan and Palenque were declining, 600 to 900 AC, the Tajin society was strengthened by maintaining its occupation until 12th AC. The city's activity commences. Agriculture and 13 Canoia was an important leader that expressed his feat in place column. Wow. Proof that it's been declared as World Heritage and it's given to the citizens of the world, the UNESCO Patrimonial the Mondial World Heritage. And here's the confirmation. In 1992, the UNESCO's World Heritage declared this and inscribed it onto the World Heritage list. Tajín, state of Veracruz. El Tajín, when Teotihuacan and Palenque was declining, here they have risen from what was the ground. The traditional people of Veracruz were quite strong in preserving and protecting their traditions and religions and a way of life and way of beliefs. And Veracruz has always been one of those powerful centers for culture and art and music and traditions of the people of this this part of the world. And El Tajín is a great example of just that, that preserved heritage and archaeological history and the history of mankind that stood for so many thousands of years, and it carried forward with great pride and dignity, and they preserved it until the travelers and traders descended from the coast to the interior of this region. They slowly made the traditions, the way of life disappear and lose most of the wealth and the knowledge and the know-how of this very enlightening and very powerful tradition here in Veracruz. If you look some of these temples here, or the structures of the architecture that has stayed here, and it's a great example of the traditional way of life and its art, music, traditions, costumes, the food. Amazing, absolutely. Way of life of El Tajín. Look at these temples that stood here for thousands of years. Hundreds and a millennia and more. El Tajín. This is the Totonacan tradition of the people, and they build these beautiful monuments until the Spanish descended here for trade purposes, and eroded and invaded their space, their way of life, their culture, and the traditions, and introduced something totally different, totally man-made ideas of modernity. And that modernity has very much today have destroyed the true values and the true way of life here in this region of Mexico, in Veracruz. But they picked up an old lady and her granddaughter, and it was quite clear that they are trying to preserve some of those traditions and the languages, Teotihuacan language that had stood here for millennia and more. The dress code. Dress is one of those things to represent your traditions and your values, and it is sad that we travel as outsiders. We tend to travel to these beautiful locations of the world where the traditions and heritage have embedded into the way of life, and we have wiped off very much all of those traditions around the world today, and it's very little is been preserved by those elderly and the frail and fragile populations of those tribes and traditions of this planet. And I don't know for how long that'll continue, but for sure the young generations that are coming and discovering the world in a very different way, with fast foods, drinks that are promoting absolutely every little speck of corner of this province. I don't need to mention because it's quite clearly everywhere you go, anywhere in the world, any corner of this planet, that's all the drink that you will see, and that's the drink that is very much embedded into their blood these days. Having said that, explaining about the traditions, one needs to come here to learn and understand about the traditions and the architectural value of these buildings and the structures that have been constructed here. Said that, all we can do is we need to label these to say that it's protected global heritage or world heritage. Otherwise these will be totally ignored and neglected and destroyed. And it is sad, right? But that's the culture that we believe in today. That iPad, that iPhone, that the next new one coming through, that's exactly what we are believing in. And that next designer clothes, and that beautiful catwalk that is, I mean, how do you match catwalk to this? You know, look at here, look at the surrounding. This used to be an old city and lots of people, but because of the human greed, the whole jungle, just the nature just consumed and exhumed the human population here because of foreign inventions or foreign stampede that should have come here to support and improve the way of life. Instead, the new methods and new knowledge and technology was introduced, and hence the old technology was totally forgotten, and that meant to the negligence of this entire location of El Tajín and locations like this around the world. I hope we can continue to preserve and protect these traditional values and way of life into the future of our lives. The main square of El Tajín, Plaza del Dios. How can you, what a beauty. Look at all these structures. How nice. Was consumed by the thick jungle because of human negligence. When you neglect, I hope we continue to play with our nature and the balance of our nature through our excessive amount of consumption and greed. Look at these beautiful mountains that surround here. And it would have been those days how it was. There's a little ramp going up. The construction of that ramp explains how it would have been to be here. And the exterior of this amazing archaeological site of El Tajín. Yeah. In the ball game, the human beings are eternalize their view of life and death, creating a ritual in a supplication of an abundant rainy season, which is now. And this is the Pyramides des Nichos, and the carvings in the center court and in each end shows the way the player dressed. Decapitation of one of them and the fecundation of the earth with blood, the sacred fluid. Decapitation could have been real or symbolic, although it is thought that the person offering his life was transformed into a liaison with the gods. Wow, what a kind of strong beliefs. And even to this day, people do those kind of sacrifications. And the South Ball Court was unlike the others, has no slope, but does not have an area of spectator, and it belongs to the city's last constructed phase. And there we are. Oh, look, the beautiful art is just inscribed onto these stones and rocks and the facade. El Tajín. Look at this pyramid, it's been preserved very much intact. This plaque here displays the cosmos and the way of its functions, included the participation of a man shedding blood. In the old traditions, you know. Even to this day, you will find these sort of traditions still being very much held in their thoughts and in their mind. And so many different ways of sacrification is being performed around the world. Religions, traditions, way of life. And as you know, people believed in what was a supernatural powers beyond what we know of today. We talk about creations and creativity, the creator, and all of these things in the name of our lack of understanding and our lack of knowledge to what are we able to see from our own eyes. Our receptors aren't able to that much clarify our knowledge. Our knowledge takes back to our experience, to the date of our experience, to the encounter of our experience, of our life. Upbringing, traditions, way of life, and religions is what we are all encircled by. And that said, for those reasons alone, the humans would do so many different ways by influencing the other who are weak, and who would put themselves forward because they have literally given their trust to somebody else to take on the ownership of their life, and that ownership is being given to the person who they believe in, and hence it's quite literally is clear in what we are doing today around the world. Sacrification. Only a week ago there was a killing for innocent reporter from the United States, and these are sacrifications because of differences. And anyway, I've gone totally out of place. I'm here in Tajín, El Tajín. These are just a ball game, which is one of the central creative sports that during these traditional times that they have always played, and part of that, it's the rituals that took place as well. Look at this. All I can say is just look at this. But you need to be here to feel the vibration, feel that energy. You can't see it from a book, you can't feel it from a picture, you can't sense it, the smell, the sounds, the vibrations, the energy. The book can't explain that. The words can't explain it. The words can't even talk about it. The pictures can't explain it. This video itself is unable to give you that amount of knowledge. Simply, it is not possible to translate that knowledge through this imagery or this footage, because the features, the detail, the structures, the energy, the effort, the thought, the collective good that has gone into building these pyramids and structures collectively have come to realize what it is and what the result of it is just here. And so when people say, well, I've seen it on the television, I've seen it on a documentary, and I've seen it on paper, on the internet. Yes, that was the day that it was captured, not the day that this moment, which is not possible to explain, or that snapping moment of pure energy and increasing amount of beauty is very, very, very hard to explain and express. And it is preserved in these detail, structure of this pyramid here in El Tajín. Wow. Why couldn't we continue to preserve this at its own former glory? Because of those exchanges of differences, wars and greed have caused to lose a lot of these amazing, beautiful architectural marvels, not just here but across the world. And our ancestors have left these for us to learn something so positive about life and how we can create beauty from our temporary time here in this world. And yet we continue to destroy our heritage, our nature, our value system, our purity and our innocence. Wow. Words can't explain how we can reverse the pattern of damage that we are causing. I come to these places only to understand how these amazing features of architecture have been come together simply because of collective knowledge and collective know-how of building a beauty of life during a temporary period of time. through several means of different sacrifications, simply because a lot of humans didn't understand. Even to this date, so many are still relying on the sources of knowledge outside, but they're not their own accumulated knowledge through the journey of life. So it is very important that we take these individuals through a journey of education through their own means, not impose our own knowledge and education on them. Anyhow, just looking at it, staring at these beautiful monuments of heritage, a global heritage, the world heritage, is a great knowledge for us all, to further expand our trust within ourselves and exchange this beauty with all the others. And this is the facade, the decorative features of the entire El Tajin's complex. Just imagine how this could have been. Why did we lose to preserve these old ancestral traditions and way of life? Because of our greed, of our selfishness to promote our own cultures and way of life, and destroyed and neglected these very traditions of the very embedded ancient world around us. Exactly. Very sad to see what humans are capable of achieving in such a short time of life. Beauty of the traditions. Tajín. A tropical, warm feeling in the amongst a very ancient city here in the province of Veracruz, in the sovereign nation of Mexico. The rays of that sun, wow, coming down. It's like the energy down this pyramid here. Wow. The energy rays. Walking amongst the old traditions. Just follow this. Just look up. Just see the traditional means of life that has been protected and preserved for many millennia. Right, in the modification of the urban distribution, the pyramid of niches was built in the shape of plaza, was adapted for the development of religious and politico-economic activities. This is going back all those years, isn't it? Those three things, politics, religions and economics. The niches are those little squares, though, like windows, and it's 365 niches correspond to the day of the year according to the solar calendar, in line with the agricultural cycle that was so basic to the life of the society of the Tajín. And yeah, thus even now the spring equinox is celebrated every 21st at this moment, in keeping with the initial preparation of sowing. Surely another celebration was held here to end the cycle. when the harvest came in, like the little Tajín, the residential area of the great Gracias, or the great Ki. This pyramid was one of the last structures to be built. Perhaps, well, it's amazing, right? Can't explain more. If you can, get here by yourself, or however you get here, have that open mind to expect the unexpected. Don't read anything, don't follow a book, a guide, or instructions. Come here, learn for yourself, and see for yourself, and learn for yourself. Don't believe in anyone else but yourself. Reflect your life in what you see, and bring that life in line with what you have gone through in your life journey, and you will appreciate the values and the value principles of life as a whole. And as an individual, you would go further to know about the existence and the coexistence on this planet, and to improve your own existence and the harmony between the living and the dead, as well as the structures and creations of humans, or human creations on this planet. Pause, listen, think. See the vista from the gravel. See, what are you going to see now? Yes, the ancient city of El Tajín. Huh? Wow. The beauty of life and its preservation and history. Haha. For 1 week I've lost a lot of time sitting in the city of Mexico. Here I have come, learned so much in a very small space of time, and received so much energy and feelings about life. And in the city of Mexico, all I got was headache, the heat, the aggression, the anger, the arguments, the differences, the macho narcissist feeling, and all that has been taken away from you just by feeling this energetic feel of this very ancient location of, or ancient city of Al Tajín, and the way of life and the traditions. No, explain the video. Another pyramid's been preserved, his former glory, painstakingly been restored. Wow. Oh, what is this? Amazing. Wow. Huh. Amazing. This complex is known as a Great Grace Fret. It's called the Xikal Teotihuacan wall in form of a spiral or stepped fret is the image of the truncated seashells or seashell identified with the god Quetzalcoatl, who is associated with the wind and the movement. Wow, what an amazing beauty of a Piramides de los Nichos.